just try to think of how we can help people.
Right. Well, first I want to thank you for making all your videos. What I really appreciate about you is you kind of stay out of the diet wars, as it were. You know, you don't get into this veganism is the way, the only way for everyone. And when I first went vegan, I kind of got a little dogmatic, not to be, anyway, I can attack people and say things, and I've done that, and I kind of feel, not regret, but I'm blessed that I saw your videos. And you've commented on one of, a comment that I left on one of your videos once when you were in Mexico. You were at some superfood raw place, and you were eating some cacao ice cream, and I'm like, oh, Krakow ice cream, at least it's better than mammary bovine secretions. And you're like, hey man, everybody's in a different place, and judging others will ruin your life. Trust me. And I'm like, you know what? That's so true. So
it came from me.
It came from you, yeah. You just a comment that you left on there.
By the way, I wasn't eating that ice cream. That was. I don't do the cacao. It's too. I get so.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I mean, I noticed if you eat cacao, you just want to keep eating it because it's addictive.
I got addicted to it for 2 years, and I couldn't function without it. And that reminded me, why I might as well go back to all the other drugs and crap.
Right.
I don't want to be. I mean, it's enough to be addicted to food, but we need the food. That's the one thing we need. We need the food. We need the oxygen, and so But anyways, I don't like dependency. It was something that I had I was born dependent. Okay, so the story is long and crazy, but you can work your way out of it by alkalinizing the body and purifying the cells. So that the cell memory for those substances is released, because it's called the law of vital adjustment. If first of all, your first cigarette is disgusting, but you're with your friends and it's cool, right? Then your second it gets progressively less disgusting. Well, then your body adapts to it, and it's no longer a toxic poison. Cellularly, your body builds defenses against it, adjusting the law of vital adjustment. Pretty soon, those same cells that got sick of it from the first try and then got used to it are now accustomed to it, and you are addicted. And now, as you release, coffee on the adrenals, a very dirty food, really. Coffee beans and roasted, and so your first cup of coffee makes you crazy, and your body is like, okay, what is this? So as you vitally adjust to these toxins, the air is one thing we all have to adjust, have the law of vital adjustment. And we get used to operating in when we're more pure and the membranes are more clear and the cells are more pink. It won't put up with, a really clean person could go into a room saturated with toxins and just fall over and die, which the other guy that progressively has been loaded with toxemia is doing just fine. So the law of vital adjustment is the toxemia buildup and then the addiction. And then your cells are addicted to nicotine, they're addicted to caffeine, they're addicted to theobromine, they're addicted to salt, they're addicted to all kinds of different things. The cells really don't need to function optimally. They need the electricity, they need the water to flush, and they need the oxygen. But a lot of the things that we eat really are cellular stimulants in order to sort of push us through these environments, which are less than the best according to what they were years ago when this was more pristine. So here we go. We went right into the law of vital adjustment. So in order to break the addiction, you've got to deal with what I call the EBGBs and white knuckle it through the process of the cells letting go. And you got to trust me when I tell you I've done it all. And now I'm just working, and even getting done with too much food is the next thing. So it's just you keep getting higher and higher and living more and more off the light of yourself.
So people who are cleaner are more susceptible to toxins? Like somebody who came off of a juice fast or a water fast, they're going to be, the toxins in coffee or cigarettes or cooked food is going to affect them more than somebody who's been doing it every single day because they built up that tolerance.
That is correct. And so, but your health suffers in the long term, and the cells tend to, well, not, the cells don't wear out, but the vital force is just wears out from being always having to purge so much waste within the cells. The cells just want to breathe like anything else. So, like let's say Carol, he kept a chicken heart alive for 25 years by just a chicken heart, just boom, boom, beating, simply by remembering to replace the fluids that the cells are surrounded in. So if you continue, and if you can in this world, which is actually impossible, but if theoretically we could continually keep the fluids that surround the cells clean and in an alkaline state, then theoretically we cannot figure out why we die. We do not know why we get old and die, because the cells are designed to replicate continuously. So it's harder to understand why we die than why we do die. You know, so we're still looking into this. Theoretically, man should be able to continue on. And back in the Bible, homeboys lived to be a long time.
900 years old.
There was lean times and there was rich times. And now all we have is rich times, and food is like constantly being stuffed into our face. We never take any time to let the vitality purify the cells, you know, so that they're operating in a clean state and replicating easily and effortlessly. In fact, Arnold Ehret's experiments with cutting himself while on the fruit diet and the rapid regeneration of cells. Robert Morse did the same thing when he was high on the fruitarian diet, cut himself, and it heals rapidly. Well, when the cells are more on the meat and the animal products and the vegetarian foods and the grains, the cell regeneration isn't as rapid. So we're trying to get to a higher state of cellular regeneration, and we're trying to get to a state of higher vital force. So we're going to continue on with the clean diet and the other myriad of lifestyle factors, mostly focused here at the Life Regenerator channel on the food trip, because that's where most of us are going wrong. And within that, we look at the drugs, the alcohol, the marijuana, the cigarettes, the caffeine, and you know, all the recreational drugs, as well as the drugs that the allopathics are using to suppress the symptoms of those other things that you're consuming.
I want to talk about having a foundation for beginning to go into like raw foods and getting healthy. I asked Gabriel Cousins about this, and the reason I'm asking is because my father has had 2 heart attacks. He was even legally dead for a little while, and he's way overweight. And he's been inspired by my journey, because I've lost 60 pounds on a raw vegan diet. I've run a marathon, and I've cleaned up my life. I used to smoke cigarettes, pack a day, and drink all the time. And he's inspired by it, and he's been asking me for help. So I got him to go on like a 2-week cleanse, like a fruit cleanse. I was trying to get him to be like 80-10-10. And he just couldn't do it. And we're talking, about like calories and eating too much or not enough. And I was kind of under the impression that he should be eating more calories, because he was tracking himself on chronometer.com and stuff, and he was getting about 1,200 to 1,400 on fruit because he just couldn't eat enough. What do you think for people who are coming from this sad diet, drinking coffee, every single day, ex-smoker, all that stuff? How do they begin? What's the first step they can take? Should it be a juice fast or like all greens before, or do you think hitting the fruit hard to begin with, and then just trying to eat enough so you can get at least 2,000 calories a day? Or
I don't think calories are that important. I think what's important is finding a way, and this is where it helps to be an expert, and where so many people have such a hard time, and is that fruit's very cleansing. So your dad's coming from this long-term standard American diet. Well, some fruit is going to be beneficial, as it's going to give energy. But that being said, too much fruit in ratio to perhaps vegetables, which do not detoxify as rapidly and are very alkalinizing, so helpful. That being said, they're also very cleansing as well and far too light. So the lymph's going to start draining too rapidly. This is when we actually, as an intelligent healer, we bring in steamed vegetables. And this is where people can make it or break it, because you can Steamed vegetables obviously are very benign. They're not toxic, you know. They're not that difficult. Now they don't do much to raise up cellular vitality, but they also slow down this massive onslaught of the lymphatic and the bloodstream just being overloaded with a lifetime of just debris. And so really, in this case, you really want to open up the door to and say, eat as much fresh fruit as you care for, eat as much fresh green juices are really awesome, as the fiber in vegetables is more challenging to, it's harder to extract the minerals and vitamins and water from those more hard celluloses. That's why fruit is really mankind's food. Herbs are his medicine. And the juicers are good because you can extract a lot without the use of expending energy on the vital force. But then I think everyone should intelligently bring in the steamed vegetables, because that's where we could, your people could go, I can do this. We're trying to get them off the gluten. We're trying to get them off the disgusting dairy. That is just, if you want to have like grass-fed, locally grown dairy or something like that, that's different than the Franken dairy that's 99% of the market, which is just loaded with hormones and then cooked and homogenized and destroyed. And it's even the Indians that come to America, they cannot, the Indians that come to America, they drink the milk in America and they get sick. And so we want to help people we want to approach this very intelligently. It's not like all raw, because that's just too much for most people. So the steamed vegetables, now that's on the practical side. The other side of that is, and I hope your dad gets to see this, is that it's love. You got to ask yourself, do you love life? Not your life, but just life itself. Do you see how precious it is? What a miracle it is on this little rock spinning through space in an infinitely large galaxy. Here we are, this little tiny rock spinning through space, and here's these little things called human beings popping up out of this amazing, whatever in the world caused it to happen. It's here. It's now. This is amazing. This is crazy amazing if you take the time to think about it. And yes, being a human being does have its vicissitudes. I mean, nobody gets out of here without stubbing their toe or getting their heart broken, And so those vicissitudes being what they are, but look at the preciousness of this life. And if you've had a near-death experience, you'll know. You'll come back a totally changed person. So really loving the preciousness that is your life, loving the ability to be there for people now, even if you're really sick. Even if you're in a wheelchair and have cancer, you can still smile at those people around you. You still have something to give. While there's breath in you, there is something to give to the people around you. Whether if you're 80 years old and just barely making it, you can give your wisdom. When you're young, you can give, you might be dumb as a stump, but you're strong. You can help your neighbor to weed their garden and move heavy stuff. I mean, we all have something to give if we decide that life is precious and we want to see it as such, And those of us who have been close to the brink and have been fortunate to come back, it changes us forever,
And that's kind of like the spiritual foundation that Gabriel Cousins was talking about too, the eagerness to be a better person, to seek that life. It starts there. It starts inside. Right?
Everybody has the call.
Yeah, the calling is, yeah. My father's no longer on a plant-based diet, and he wants to eat more cooked foods, and he said he started eating meat, and it doesn't make him feel good, but he doesn't want to give up meat. So for people who are eating meat, I told him, like, why don't you eat oysters or bivalves or something, just on an ethical standpoint, because it's not a sentient creature, or it can be made the argument they're not sentient. What would you tell somebody who still wants to incorporate a little bit of meat into their diet? What's the best thing to do? And not talking, he doesn't want to eat red meat, but how often, if just a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason why I don't eat meat, and I got this instantly, and you're talking about a die-hard, bodybuilding meat eater, everyday meat. When I found out that meat was a dead animal, I stopped. And then very rapidly, within a very short period of time, I'm talking within that same day of having this revelation, I realized that it's death and it's pain and it's suffering. And then later on, of course, years later, I saw the PETA videos and it all really made sense. But that being said, I realize there's a lot going on. People are living way out of their environment, and it's freezing cold, and we've got social, we're programmed with the protein programming. As you get older and wiser and you go down this road, you see it's ridiculous. There's plenty of protein, and you don't, that's the last thing you need to worry about. But if someone's going to eat animal-based protein, which I really don't have any, like, I'm not ever going to do that. You know, you're wrong, you're a murderer, any of that stupidity. It's ridiculous. It makes the other person look like a fool to me. But I don't eat it because I cannot have those energies in my body and be an effective meditator and an effective conduit for this energy that wants to come through, which is without pain, without suffering. I can't kill anything. I couldn't kill an animal. If my children were starving, that might be another story. That would be another day. But I personally right now couldn't kill anything no matter how hungry I was. Okay, but so to answer your question, you know, that's why I just want everyone to know that I'm not one of these parading vegans who's like da la la yeah. It's like, shut up. You can see I get more angry at them than I do at the people that eat meat, because you cannot judge. You set the example by love. And like, if I'm a meditator, I can tell you right now, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'll tell you, am I going to have good meditations tomorrow? Well, that just depends. What did I eat today? So I'm eating foods to have a clear, quiet mind so that I can eventually transcend the mind, just like we went over with Gabriel Cousins today. That being said, let me answer your question. This is fun. But, you know, if I was a person that wanted to eat animals feeling like I needed protein, I would say eggs, a couple of, you know, hard-boiled eggs. Try not to fry the eggs, you know, are okay. Egg yolks, there's probably some stuff in there. I've heard of many vegans, meditators, masters, 15, 20 years into raw veganism, something inside of them tells them to, you know, eat a couple of egg yolks, they eat a couple of egg yolks, and that's it. So there's more to this always than meets our little tiny view of the world. So we have to keep our mind blastingly wide open eternally for forever and never judge anyone. I'm not even very good. I shouldn't have judged the people that are having their vegan parades either. But if I was going to eat meat, I would eat maybe 4 ounces of the cleanest, freshest meat that I possibly could. And you'd be rest assured, with 4 ounces of meat, I would be eating a pile of vegetables so big, herbs, to help to neutralize the waste matter, you know. Like, I have this vision of how animal products work in the body, particularly meat being the most offensive in my opinion, really disintegrating into like a pus in your body. And it just, and then you're bloated, and it's very stimulating. So you get stimulated, then you go to the gym, then you work out, and then you eat fruits and vegetables and grow good, healthy, high-quality tissue. So meat is a stimulant. It also warms the body. Let's try to imagine, you know, some Eskimos eating my diet over there of grapefruits and oranges. They would be dead in like 3 days or something. So we all have to be, you know, I could approach this more lovingly, but I've been attacked from every angle, so I'm just like Mr. Defensive. But loving each other, all human beings, no matter what the diet is, because we are all breathing some nasty air, and we're all responsible because we're all making the choices, and we're all consuming, and we're all caught in this huge quagmire that you know, and you might think that your way is the right way and yours way is the way to solve all mankind's problems, but I'm pretty sure you're not right. There's only one solution, and that is love. And then when you have that love in your heart, you see there was no problem to begin with. It's a rock spinning through space, doing its own karma, and for you, you can be the intergalactic spiritual being, and you can go up upon the earth and look down at the earth and go, hey, there's Dan, he's doing pretty good with his YouTube channel, and look how skinny he's getting and all that, and you can see all your friends and your loved ones, and none of it's Or you can go right down to the earth, suck down into it, be real, pretend like all this is so real, and be all emotional about it. Or you can separate yourself from it. So a little bit of animal foods, just small, tiny amounts, trying not to eat too much, and making sure it's getting moved through with lots and lots of green stuff. And that's my advice, my caring, loving advice to people who really believe they need it. And if you really believe you need it, then you really will need it. And if you really believe that you can succeed as a raw vegan, you really will be able to succeed as a raw vegan. There is no objective world out there. Okay, there is only mind, you know, and as you, that which is held in mind will be that which is, and that will manifest in your experience. So mind your mind, pay attention. What are you programmed with, and can you cancel those belief systems out, eliminate them, and, you know, change them and do another different belief, you know.
And it starts with love. I like that.
The key.
The key right there.
It starts and ends with love, and then there doesn't have to be anything else in between, but there usually is, because it's fun to play.
This has helped me a lot. I mean, like I said, you in the beginning of this, you've helped me to judge less, and I just wanted to thank you for that again, and continue to do what you keep doing and inspiring people. And
I just got a new slogan, a new life regeneratorism. Judge less, love more.
I love it.
Can you dig it?
Yes.
Cool. I better cover my skinny arms here. Don't let them
What?
see.
The website? Or
Oh, yeah. Our website, his website.
or like what
Two
we
cameras,
what
both.
Yeah, we got two.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
well, we
said-
got the Life Regenerator on YouTube, and your website, is it, you have a new one.
I got an awesome new membership website, which is regenerationnation.com. It's a family of love, and there's no dietary restrictions, spiritual restrictions, although sometimes the atheists feel a little squeezed, but I wouldn't do that to you personally, but I can understand. So everyone's got to just defend themselves there. But it's really based on love and some more in-depth stuff, sharing some more of my more intimate experiences, you know,
Different than
in,
the
in
YouTube
a safer environment for me, you know, than YouTube, as you probably know.
Yeah, there's
YouTube.
people who attack you, but
Yeah.
you kind of you learn to ignore the haters and the trolls and stuff. But it is about love.
And when I do learn to ignore, I will thank you for reminding me that I'm supposed to do that.
Well, that's our goal, right? To remind each other to spread the love and not judge others. But you can also check us out. We're Easy Raw Food at YouTube, and we have a website, Easy Raw Life. And we're just trying to do the same thing you're doing, modeling ourselves after you and other people who inspire us.
Healthy, clean foods eaten with a lot of presence and love, and then just really watching ourselves when we judge. I mean, I got a great rap, but do you think I'm Mr. Perfect or what? No, of course not. But I'm going to keep. But as we teach, we learn. If you want to learn something, go out into this world and teach it. Do not be afraid. You'll never master it, you know. So if you get into that field of energy and you start teaching it, that's how I became such a great life regenerator, was by teaching life regeneration, you know. So we learn, and we keep learning, and we keep growing, and we keep evolving into our higher, better, most purest self by the art and practice of surrender. And on one hand, the diet can be very beneficial due to the way that food affects the mind. And on another hand, it's only a little tiny small part of all the other practices that need to take place, and hopefully we get to go over those again one of these days, and we keep cultivating all the things that are good and releasing all those things which are harmful, and growing up into our greatest humanity. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. Thanks everybody. I thought I had a great time. You're awesome to
Thanks.
talk with. What's your name again, bro?
Gabe.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've only met a couple times, but
Yeah, we just
anyways,
met yesterday.
thanks YouTube. Oh, was that our first time meeting?
Yesterday, yeah. Are you
I've
gonna-
seen you before on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I remember your face. But
I'm on YouTube.
peace, y'all.
Peace. Are you going to be